Thanks and welcome to this second part of my second cat project. So I've just put fresh batteries in this kitten and switched it on, but it doesn't actually work. It's not turned on. So I will be taking the fur off it in any case. So I'll remove the fur and we'll see if there's anything obvious. So I've taken the fur off, and when Paul gave the body a tap, it started working. Just went like, tapped it on the side. So, any ideas?
Possibly the motor was stuck, the gear in one of the gearboxes for the eyes or the tail. Yeah, I would say that's the most likely thing. I was thinking possibly a loose connection as well, being disturbed by vibration by tapping it, but I think it's possible because it seems to have righted itself completely. I think it's possibly a motor that was stuck.
Right. So as I mentioned in my last video on this project, in a previous project, guinea pig project, we used an MP3 player to put some guinea pig noises on. And in this project, we found a really nice real cat purr on YouTube, and we're going to use that on our MP3 player. So Paul's got the purr on an SD card now, and he's going to play it. It's very relaxing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost 3 hours long, isn't it?
Yes, it is, just under.
So in our last video, we showed you this touch sensor module that Paul was working on, making it suitable to use on the snap circuits. Okay, so you finished the touch sensor module, Paul, putting it on the snap circuits, and I can see there that you've added a second touch sensor module. Why is that?
Okay, because they can be configured different ways. You can see this one's got its red light on, and when I touch it, it goes off. This one's got its red light off, and when I touch it, it goes on.
Right.
So they call this one, the way this one's configured is active high. That means when you touch it, the output goes high, the light comes on. Whereas this one, when you touch it, the output goes low, the light goes off. It's that sort of output which is needed to trigger the MP3 module.
Right. So you've got two touch sensors there with like different functionality.
Yeah, one
depending on what we need.
That's right, yeah.
When we make a circuit.
That's right, yeah.
Lovely. So now we can use the touch sensor module to make the MP3 player play the cat purring track that's on the SD card. So go ahead, Paul.
We turn the MP3 player on. We stroke the cat and it plays the sound. The cat's purring.
So what happens if you were to touch that a second time?
Might try it. It goes to the next track, but there's only one track, so it plays the same track again from the beginning.
So that's fantastic. We've now got a working model on the snap circuits. So the big next step is to transfer that to the cat, which will mean wiring an MP3 player
with its SD card and the purr on it,
to obviously a power supply and a touch sensor, and the MP3 player will have to be connected to the speaker in the cat, so we'll be cutting the wire.
That's right, yeah, we'll be using the speaker that's already in the cat.
And the last thing that will need to be connected will be an on-off switch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, quite a big job there, Paul. So I suppose the next thing we'll probably do is take the cat apart and to get access to the speaker. So I've removed the fur from the head as well as the body, and at the moment it's not working again. So what we need to do next is to remove the casing, and then Paul can see if he can figure out what's causing the problem, and he can also see how we can get access to the speaker. You can see the speaker, it's on the top here.
So I'm now removing these wires, which seem to hook around these little plastic lugs.
One good thing about the wires is they are colour coded, aren't they?
Oh, this is the one with the little connectors on, isn't it? That we had last time. I said it was quite a good quality way of connecting the wires. That was cut, wasn't it? This one?
Yeah, that's the touch sensor on the back that I cut the wire by accident when I was removing the fur. So the speaker's on the top there.
There's the speaker, yeah. Those two yellow wires.
Right. We could probably bring those two yellow wires out here, Paul, because we removed the tail mechanism, so there's a hole there.
Yeah.
So you've worked out that it's this motor here which operates the neck.
Yeah.
That's making a whirring sound. So
it's more of a vibration. It's the power it's being driven with. They use a pulse where it's modulated signal, and that's what you can hear. And I think it's doing that because it's jammed.
Right. So that motor's connected to the neck.
Yeah, and this motor and gearbox is connected to the body by a couple of screws. I'd like to get this gearbox and neck out to the rest of the body.
Right. So we've just discovered that the motor that controls the neck also controls the eyes at the same time.
So the eyes, the opening of the eyes is mechanically linked to the twisting of the neck.
So is there not a separate motor for the eyes?
Doesn't look like it.
Oh, I never knew that.
I'll put it back. So this part of the body shell was actually under the back of this neck here, and I've just had to sprise it out.
So we put fresh batteries in, some fresh Duracell, and it worked for a while, but it's stuck again now. So Paul's just measured the voltage and it was 4.36 volts. So what do you think's going on, Paul?
The motor's sticking when it's turning the gears that operate the head and the eyes.
So do you think it's a broken gear or something like that?
Yes, it could be. Could be a broken gear.
So are you loath to open up the gearbox because if there was something wrong with the gear it would be too difficult to fix?
Yeah, it would be too difficult to fix. It's beyond the capability of 3D printing small gears like that. So we couldn't fix it that way. Also, we opened it up and didn't find anything wrong and put it back together because there's so much dismantling around the gearbox and there's a lot of wires around here and that. We most definitely will lose a solder connection or break a wire, which will involve a lot more work to get it back to this sort of semi-working state where it sticks sometimes.
So we're going to just keep it in this semi-working condition. We're going to be moving to 4 AA batteries instead of 4 AAA batteries.
Yeah, that setup, the 4 AA's, is able to provide more current should the motor get stuck or become sticky,
so
which
it might
means
be
that it's less likely to stick. So the next thing to do is to take this speaker off here, take the speaker to one side and put a couple of long thin wires on it.
Yes.
Ready for being installed back into the body.
Yes, but it's going to be it's not going to be connected to any of
It's not
this
going to be connected to any of
electronics.
this. And so when we take these yellow wires off that come from the audio amplifier on board here, we'll just, in place of the speaker, we'll put a resistor as a
Right.
load that it can work into.
Okay. So I've made a new polymer clay foot. I wanted to make the pads a bit deeper, and I've altered the design of this one. I think the last one looked a little bit dog-like, so I think this is a more cat-like shape, and I've made it sort of neater, trimmed it round the edges. So next, using 2-part silicone putty, I'll make a mould of this. So I've made a mould now, and I've pressed the pour pad into it. This is what I used to make the mould. Casting Craft Easy Mould silicone putty. Comes in little tubs like this. You measure out equal quantities and mix it until it's swirl free. Then you push the item that you want a mould of into it, and you leave it to set for 25 minutes. So I've taken the pour out of the mould now, and it seems to have made a really nice mould. So next we need to spray the inside of this mould with silicone mould release. So that's a silicone mould release spray we're going to use. So this is the silicone I'm going to use. 2-part silicone, you put equal parts of A and B, and you stir it until it's swirl free. So I'm using this red pigment. Unfortunately the top came off, so there's more red pigment than I would actually like in there. It means I'll probably have to put more white in, and that's the white pigment I'm going to use. So I just put extra white in to get a light pink this time. So the next thing to do is to get rid of the bubbles by putting it in a, is it a vacuum chamber you call it, Paul? So Paul's put it in the vacuum chamber now. So it's degassed now. Do you call it degassed?
Yeah.
So I've got to wait for it to set now, and got to wait at least 3 hours for it to set. So this is the pour set, and it's worked out really nice. I need to make another 3 of these. So that's all I've got time for in this video. Hope you'll join us in part 3, where Paul will be working on the electronics for the speaker, MP3 module and batteries. And I'll be doing some more crafting on the cat. But for this video, thanks for watching as always, and see you next time.